In this video, we're going to look at Smart Art in PowerPoint. Smart Art is one of those tools that you can certainly use within a PowerPoint presentation, but it's also pretty versatile in terms of graphics, and you can create a PowerPoint slide just to use the Smart Art there and export that and use it in other places or just as standalone. So it is under the Insert tab, and you click on Smart Art. The online version of PowerPoint also has Smart Art. It simply has fewer options. I'll talk about one specific example in a little bit. So to begin with, you open up to see all of them. That is a little bit overwhelming, although they are still listed by categories, the same categories in the same order as you'll see on the left here. I'm going to look at some of the varieties and then we'll get into how to actually make use of them. So if you take a look at list, every single one that you click on will give you a full color image and a description of what it's used for and its features and limitations. From very basic block list to a lot of them just vary on their graphic design. Some of them vary as you go through on functions. Obviously, there's a lot of different things you can do with lists, but some of them simply are just a different graphic choice as well. These two are designed for text. This one designed for an image with captions, so picture and captions. And they'll talk about being level 1 or level 2 text. Once I start one and start editing it, you'll see what the difference there is. But it says level 1 text is inside, level 2 is outside the shapes. Hierarchical organization of your text. And we'll see that scattered throughout as well. You can see a lot of different graphic options, a lot of different choices for how to show either your text or your images, or your combination of text and images. Processes. Processes can be, again, straight linear. The step up brings to mind, for me, prerequisites, step by step. This one is also, well, they're all processes, so this one also shows order, but this one reminds me more of flowchart. And then some are not quite so straightforward, one step at a time, but this one, converging text, you have a number of steps that come together and culminates in a larger process, which then continues on. Here are two examples of timelines. So I mentioned that in the online version, you don't have as many choices in here for Smart Art graphics. This is the timeline that's available in PowerPoint Online. PowerPoint Desktop, you have both of these available. You will also see some overlap. Notice this circle arrow process. We'll see that again later. Funnel with merging parts into a whole, or the gear showing interlocking steps. You'll see those again in some other places. Opposing, converging, diverging. So by process, it doesn't necessarily have to mean just one step at a time. You can see there's other ways to illustrate a process. Cycle, told you you'd see those gears and that circle arrow again. You have several different ways of representing just sort of the iteration design process. And then you get to here and suddenly there's no arrows. And then you get to here and the arrows go multiple directions. I'm not sure what a pie chart's doing in here, but it's at least the right shape right now. There are arrows in here. So this is another one where it mentions that there's a limitation. So limited to 6 level 2 shapes. So you have one level 1 shape in the middle, 6 level 2s. And often when it says there's a limitation, it will tell you that unused text doesn't appear but remains available if you switch layouts. That means that if I started with something that allows more than 6, you can actually switch from one type to another. Once you've created your graphic, you can switch to a different graphic type. And sometimes that works smoothly and sometimes it doesn't. But if you have something with 8 steps in here and then you switch to here and it only has 6, those 2 don't get deleted. They just don't show up in here. And if you move it back to something that holds more than 6, they're still in there. Okay, hierarchy. Got organization charts with pictures, organization charts with names and titles. So really the same concept here, just what information do you want to include in your hierarchy. Then you get to where we turn everything on its side, and now we have multi-level hierarchy. We're moving horizontally rather than vertically. We have categorical or labeled hierarchy. And then relationships. And this one is very much a repeat of a lot of ones that are scattered throughout these others, but there's also some that are completely unique that you won't see anywhere else, like your nested targets, tabbed art, basic target, bullseye, a stacked Venn diagram, a three-way Venn diagram. And the matrix doesn't have a whole lot of different options, but you got your basic. This one reminds me of the Freyer diagram for vocabulary. And then just a few versions of the pyramid, regular pyramid, inverted pyramid. This one reminds me of a regular pyramid with just the labels moved to the side. And these are all ones that are about pictures rather than text. You will find different ones that are for pictures scattered throughout here, but all the ones for pictures are also pulled together here separately, some of which are not in other places, but are unique just to this category. You know what? I don't know why Office.com has a separate listing here. It just seems to be sort of a random collection here. All right, so let's jump back up to, well, let's say something in the process. And I'll grab one here, increasing arrows. Limited to 5 level 1 items. Level 2 can contain large amounts of text. So some of these hints will tell you that it works better with limited amounts of text or that it can handle large amounts of text. So level 1 is right up here. And level 2 down here. Now, if when you start filling this out, nothing opens up here, you can actually open a text pane. Most of these will actually start with this open. And rather than typing in here, what I can do is I can just type right here. And when I hit tab, it actually demotes it. So this was a level 1, but by hitting tab, it demotes it to a level 2, and it brings it under the previous level 1. And if I hit shift tab, that promotes it. So anything that is currently listed as level 2, if I put my cursor there and do shift tab, it bumps it up to a level 1. So you can see it moves from this text box underneath to being one of the upper arrows. And if I want to add an arrow underneath of that, come here and hit enter. If I want to add text underneath of that, I can then hit tab. This becomes the text box level 2 that goes with this level 1 arrow. All of these shapes are customizable in terms of colors. You can change to a whole different palette. I'm going to go ahead and switch to a whole different type now. I'm going to switch again. So I'm going to switch this back. I am choosing colors under Smart Art Design, but you can also just choose format. So I can choose this arrow, click on format, and then this is probably a more familiar way to change colors. I can change fill, I can change the outline, I can change the text type. I can even go to my home tab, select my text, and change fonts and font size. All of the things that you could normally do with a shape, you can select that and format just the shape, and then you can come back into Smart Art Design and edit your content. So this is essentially how all of the Smart Art works. Again, if you don't see the text pane open here, once you're working in here and you're under the Smart Art Design tab, if you want to open that text pane so you can work in here by entering your text rather than clicking in each of these. And again, that's how you make that appear or disappear. In addition to tabbing, you can also promote and demote right here. You can also change the order of steps by selecting one and then moving it up or down. Under adding shapes, whatever one you have selected, when you do before or after, it'll add one of the same type. So you have some other options for how to go about adding and moving and adjusting. Again, you can use the text pane, you can type directly on here, you can use tabs, or you can use the controls that are right here under the Smart Art Design tab. So that's your intro to Smart Art. There's a lot of organizers here, a lot of graphics to check out. Pretty much any way you need to visually represent information, there is an option for it under Smart Art. Let's go ahead and take some time to explore that. Check it out. If you haven't already done it, go to PowerPoint, click on Insert, click on Smart Art, check out all of the graphics that are available for you to add and customize either inside of a PowerPoint or just on a PowerPoint slide to export or print to a PDF. So thank you for watching this video on Smart Art Design in PowerPoint. Please don't forget to subscribe down below, where you'll also find a link to my book, all the Microsoft tools you need to transform your classroom, as well as a link to my blog, theotherit.com.